Ah, there she is.
Hi. It's nice to meet you. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you so much for having me here today. Just like you guys know, working from home now brings a lot of interesting challenges to the table.
Yeah, I bet it does. I mean, we've been looking into what you've been up to, but I just want to quickly, just for people at home, just to give a little bit about what you guys do. So Demelza Hospice Care for Children, helping those who may not live a long life live a full life. What a beautiful thing. Demelza provides specialist care and emotional support for children with terminal conditions and their loved ones, so they can enjoy time together as family for as long as they have. That's lovely.
It really is.
I was looking on your website and it says in these difficult times your services are vital, absolutely, but fundraising has sharply declined. Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean,
how are you adapting?
Well, we'll go on as long as our reserves hold out, and which will hopefully be for the whole duration of this crisis. But we've had to take the difficult decision to postpone and cancel a lot of our events, and obviously all of our retail outlets are closed now, and that's all having a really significant impact on income. Which is why we have jumped on the 2.6 bandwagon, which you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is such a difficult time, and it's essential that everyone takes care of their loved ones primarily. But if people feel able to support Demelza, then we've got some great ideas to share with you around how you can go about doing that.
Yeah. Well, fill us in. Tell us.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, 2.6 challenge has come about because obviously the London Marathon was cancelled, and a marathon is 26 miles, and that's a huge amount of income that would usually come in for charities across the country. So this has been put in place to try and backfill some of that gap. So people have been taking to the streets in their daily exercise outing and running, walking, riding their bikes, doing 2.6 miles, 26 miles. We've had some really fantastic challenges taking place. I was looking on our Facebook group, so we've got a really lovely Facebook group called Team Demelza, and it's where our supporters can add what they've been doing onto our page. And there's things like somebody baked 26 cupcakes. I don't know whether or not they ate them all. They might have done. We had some kids that did a challenge in their back garden. They ran around the perimeter of their garden 115 times to make 2.6 miles. So people are getting really ingenious about how they're doing this challenge for us.
Yeah, that sounds great. What was the name of the Facebook group again? Sorry,
Team Demelza.
Okay, we'll point people over there.
Yeah, so, come and join us.
Yeah, definitely. What was some of the sort of wackier challenges? Is there anything that you can recall?
I think I saw a lady called Michelle who had done. She wasn't a big fan of walking or running. She felt that she couldn't run 2.6 miles, so she danced it instead. I mean, really? I would say that perhaps dancing 2.6 miles is harder than running 2.6 miles, but she put some photos on her page. It looks fantastic, and she obviously had a lot of fun doing it.
That's great. Why didn't
we come up with the idea, Jack, for you to dance for 2.6 minutes whilst we were doing this interview? Why was that everyone
I'd like to see that.
All three of us.
Yeah, if you're in, I'm in.
Just keep dancing whilst talking.
I'm a horrible dancer. I'm going to save everybody.
Yeah. 2.6 onions, that's what I say.
Yes! What a great idea.
I can't believe you've just upped the ante.
And if Jack doesn't do it now, he's just not being nice to charity, which is what we can all say, because it was all part of talking about charity. So, yeah.
Wow. And it's never been more important than now, Jack, to support your local charities.
Well, this is true. I wonder how much more money we'd raise if we all did the onion challenge.
Oh, see, that's a cop-out, isn't it?
How is that a cop-out?
I think, Jack, I think you need to search for some more onions. You should portion the third one up into sixths, and you should get on with it, mate.
We had somebody else recently who, it just reminded me because of the beans, somebody counted how many beans were in their tin. They did a sponsored count. It was some little kids counting beans.
How many were in there? Is that of interest?
I don't know. I should have asked. I didn't ask. I'm sorry. I'll find out and let you know.
How many do you reckon? I think, what, about 300, 400? Was that?
I don't know. There's about 10 in a tablespoon, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe about that. I don't know.
I visualise being in a tin.
I mean, that would make for riveting watching, wouldn't it? Watching us count our beans now. Shall I run down and get some?
Right there. I can have it.
We're always looking for content ideas, so you know that could be one.
We are counting out beans. Did you do any challenges, Nicola?
I did a 2.6 mile walk, which was a joy to do because it was a lovely sunny day. I'm not sure I'd want to do it today. And then the other thing I did is I did a quiz. So Demelza are going to be doing a quiz on the 7th of May, and that's going to be going out to the public. But I wanted to do a trial run, so I did a little one with friends and family to kind of work out how I could do it using Zoom. And that raised £550, which blew my mind because that was just from 40 people taking part, and they all said they really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the actual one does. It's quite a lot of work, but it's good fun to do, and it's really lovely to come together as well. I mean, you know, we're all in the same boat. You know, it's really hard to socialise, and and it was a really lovely opportunity to have so many of my family sort of in the room with us. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. We can take up to we've got a license for up to 500 people on Zoom that we're using. So it'll be really interesting to see if it translates from 40 to perhaps 400 and something. I don't know. I'm a bit scared, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Come and join us.
Chaos.
Yeah, well, everyone will be muted. I think that's the only way to do it. Yeah, we did another one on YouTube at the weekend, but it was pre-recorded, and that was brilliant because we had some celebrities taking part. So we had Jane Torville, Nick Niles, Sally Lindsay, Harry Ree. I'm going to forget somebody under the pressure, Cheryl Baker, but they were so lovely, and our designer Stuart did a great job of editing all together, and it was like watching a little TV show. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're having to come up with lots of innovative ways of doing things. So this is why the 2.6 has been so important to us. And we had, I think, I'm just trying to remember how many pages were set up. I think we had 30 pages set up last week, but there will be others that we don't know about yet because there's a little bit of a lag between people setting them up and then Just Giving notifying us. So I think there'll be quite a lot more than that. So it'll be exciting to see what else other people have been doing. And it's not too late. If anybody else wants to do one, just give us a shout.
Brilliant. I mean, you say that you're trying to kind of backfill from the gap that the marathon has left. How many people would normally run for Demelza each year?
So it varies because obviously people get their own places as well. So I think last year we had in the high 40s, and it is a significant amount of money, you know, sometimes up to £100,000. So backfilling that is quite a job. And if you add to that as well, it's not just the marathon for us, it's with the other marathons. We've got things like the Ride 100. People are usually doing their own personal treks and challenges. So they might, you know, like international treks and challenges are gone. It's quite a significant amount to backfill. And we also do our own events in the summer. So we had, I don't know if anybody heard of it, we had the Bubble Rush last year. We had over 4,000 people at one of the events in Moat Park, and that raised over £100,000. So when you start putting all of those together, it is a very difficult situation financially. But, you know, we've got some reserves, like I said, which we hope very much will hold out for the entirety of this crisis. But we've also got to replenish those and look to the future. So it's a challenging time for us all, but you know, I guess it is for everyone that's watching now is in the same boat, you know, potentially trying to find new creative ways to keep their businesses going. And I think that maybe for you guys as well, things will never be the same. You know, I don't know if things will ever go back to how they were, and perhaps we're forging a new way ahead in doing more of this digital platforms in terms of fundraising.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if it's been something that you've always, I say relied or depended on, but if the strategy has always been to have sort of live events and bringing people together, large gatherings, obviously a real issue at the moment, finding you may have not realised how much more there was to do digital, and so the two side by side, it might, you know, really sort of bolster and galvanise, you know, charity work going forward.
Yeah, and not just in terms of fundraising, I mean, in terms of how we deliver our services as well, that's changing. So our family support team, obviously can't bring big groups of siblings together at the moment. So they're looking at how they do that using technologies like Zoom or on other platforms to still hold those meetings and bring people together and support families that need that extra bit of help at the moment. Because it's not obviously the end of life care is vital and hugely important to what we do, but it's so much more than that in how we support the whole family. So yeah, using all these new technologies, and I don't think that will change now. I think that will be something that gets taken forward.
Has it made or helped you guys be just as efficient, more efficient in terms of delivering the care?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can beat face-to-face care, and that's still taking place. So end-of-life care is still going on as normal. That part of our work is business as usual for us. There isn't any other way to do that. But for sure, I think that even if you look at things like cost savings, we have 3 sites. So traditionally, we'd be coming together fairly regularly across those sites, and people moving en masse from one site to another. Well, we can't do that now. And I think perhaps moving forward, you know, not just in terms of cost saving, but for the environment as well. We've learnt and adapted and are using these new platforms that probably lots of other people have been using for years and years and years, but we've had to learn very quickly to adapt to the current situation. And I think probably a lot of that will stay in place in the future.
I think you're probably not alone. I mean, we work in digital, and we've come across, you know, several new platforms and ways of doing things which we didn't know about, or perhaps didn't have as much relevance or use before. And now we're utilizing them, things like Zoom, you know, all that kind of stuff. So have you found anything else new, like Zoom? Anything cool that we don't know about?
I think that, I mean, I would hope that as digital experts, we haven't got anything new for you, because we're on a little catch up zone. But so our teams are using things like Hangouts. We're using Zoom internally for meetings. We're doing a lot of social things together, we're finding as well, because we're not coming together in the office and not having those water cooler moments. That outside of our usual working hours, we're still kind of coming together, which is interesting, because we wouldn't have done that when we were working together so much. We wouldn't have had those social things, but we're now doing things like virtual coffee breaks and lunch breaks together on things like Hangouts. Hangouts has kind of petered off now. Like, it was really big in the first couple of weeks, but I think then we discovered Zoom, and it seems to be a lot better for us. But yeah, I mean, this is exciting. This platform you're using at the moment, I know we're live on YouTube. I didn't realise that, I didn't know how to broadcast live onto YouTube, so that's really exciting to find out. I'm thinking now, a future quiz could be on YouTube rather than Zoom. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Ben's your man. I'll bring you in, Ben. you found StreamYard, and you know, you're the genius behind all of this.
I think it's quite interesting. We're talking then about like different ways to utilize digital now to be able to drive, like for us, it's driving sales or trying to generate leads. And I think you've hit on a few things there. But all in all, what would you say now for Demelza is your key sort of area that you've had to sort of step up and improve during this pandemic to continue that functionality and to continue taking donations?
I mean, most of our platforms in terms of taking donations are still as they were, because they were already in place. You know, we use Just Giving a huge amount, as most charities do, because it's got a really simple process in the back end. I know some people kind of query about it, you know, that these platforms should be free and so on, but we use Just Giving at, you know, it's virtually no cost to us, and the time saved on the back end is worth any cost to us. So other platforms, I mean, there used to be one called My BT Donate, I think it was called, and that was completely free. But it was very difficult to use at the back end in terms of the time it took to import that data, whereas for Just Giving for us is seamless. It works really well with our database and so on. I think where we are having to make those changes and adapt, like I said earlier, you know, it's really trying to find ways to connect instead of face-to-face with our supporters. So we have used YouTube to do that quiz. We've had Zoom meetings with some of our volunteers, because usually we'd have like a monthly catch-up that volunteers can pop in and out of. Well, we've not been able to do that, so we've done that. We've moved that online. I'm doing some training with some of our volunteers, because usually we would send ambassadors to go and do presentations to groups like Rotary clubs and so on. Well, obviously we can't do that, but they are still meeting, so they are having online group sessions. So I'm training ambassadors to use Zoom to do a presentation to those groups that are still in place.
Perfect.
It's exciting, isn't it? It's really exciting finding these new technologies and adapting.
Yeah, and I think as well, like a lot of our volunteers are a little bit older, you know, quite often retired, and they're really, really all in, you know, I'm so impressed by them because, I mean, even showing like my family how to use Zoom, because we do a weekly Zoom catch up with all the aunties. I mean, they're all 70 or over. And the first one was awful. I mean, I cannot express how awful that first one was. But now it's seamless because they've done it and they've got the hang of it.
Yeah.
And it's the same for our volunteer ambassadors. You know, the first one will be a bit difficult, but once they've done it, I think it'll be great, and they can go out and they can carry on doing what they've always done, and that is promoting Demelza, what we do, how we help families in our local communities, and how our local communities can help us to help those families. So I think that's really exciting to see as well. And again, I think that's something that will probably continue for years to come, if not forever now. I mean, it's a changed landscape that we're all in.
Absolutely. It really is. And it really has been lovely talking to you. I'm ever so sorry, but we've just sort of run out of time. But
thank you so much for having us.
No, thank you for coming on. It was really great, really interesting to talk to you. And we'll obviously make sure that we've tagged you up and we can point people in the right direction so that people can continue to support you and the great cause.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you.
Cheers, Nicola. Thank you.
Bye.